It is a beautiful Friday, and we say welcome to Itches and Voices. And in case you're joining us for the first time, Itches and Voices is brought to you by NAVID, Network for the Advancement of Persons with Visible Disability. And today we'll be continuing on our series, Love, Relationship and Disability. It's been an amazing series so far, and we've had 3 guests. Mr. Igwe making it our 3rd now, and we've been discussing on love, moving aside from our usual Edo State disability law, rights, advocacy, and inclusion. And of course, we have our amazing sign language interpreter that will be doing justice to our hearing impaired audience, and Ms. Cynthia Godwin Aya. And we also have an amazing guest with us in the studio today, Mr. Igwe Friday. Welcome, Mr. Igwe Friday.
Thank you so much.
It's nice having you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And also, I think it would be nice for us to dive right into the topic for today, which is love, relationship, and disabilities. And before we go on, sir, please, can you tell us a bit about yourself so our audience viewers can know you a little better?
Okay. My name is Igwe Friday, like you already introduced. Okay. And I am a lawyer by the grace of God.
Wow.
And I'm a member of NAVID.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. And I got to find out that you recently got married. How is the wedding life going for you?
Well, we just entered the club, so we are still trying to study the very unique
Okay, that's amazing. And for our topic today, which is love and relationships, and what does love and relationship in general mean to you personally? Because it's a topic that I feel like everybody loves to talk about, everybody loves to engage in. So what does that mean for you personally, if you can explain to us?
Okay, all right. I like the fact that you said you use the words, what it means to me personally.
Yes.
Because to me, love has no universally accepted definition. So it depends on how you perceive it as a person.
Yes.
And how you perceive it depends on your experience. And I believe that it has nothing to do with disability.
Very true.
It has nothing to do with disability. So your relationship with people will determine whether you are going to enjoy that that beautiful word called love.
Yes.
So to me, I think love is a gift from God. You understand, that given to mankind, irrespective of your status in the society. So it now depends on how you handle it. So to me, love, and no matter how you look at it, and no matter who you are, love has, has very key component. To me, it has what I call intimacy.
Yes.
It also has what you call passion and commitment. So no matter what you are, if you have experienced love, you must have those 3 components in place.
Okay, thank you very much. You made mention of something that love is the same regardless of disability or not, without having disability. So I want to ask a question. So we had a guest last week, and she made mention of disability and love for those for people living with disability. It's not the same for everybody. It is a little bit difficult for some to find love, and it is easy for others to find love. And she mentioned, like, the deaf community, that some of them get married earlier compared to other clusters in the disability community. So what do you have to say regarding that? Do you believe that it is difficult to find love in the disability community, or you think it's a personal thing? Okay,
like I already established that love to me is what you think it is. You understand? And your experience will not determine what you see love as. So, but I do not think, like I said, I do not think that it has anything to do with disability. But that does not mean that the guess you had has no no point. But the truth remains that it has nothing to do with disability, because, like I earlier stated, it has 3 components, which is passion, intimacy, and commitment. As long as you have blood flowing through your veins, you understand? So if you can experience those 3 things, it means you have love. And the thing is that it depends on how you, like, if you can show care, you understand? If you can show care to the next person, the person that you are actually in relationship with, of course, and that person can return that same care. Of course, yes, like, you're already experiencing love, so it has nothing to do with, so it depends on how you manage it as a person. So how you manage it will now, I mean, whether you are going to find it very difficult to have love, and whether you are you are going to enjoy such love. So it has nothing to do with your personality, it has nothing to do with your status, and it has nothing to do with your disability. So that is what I feel.
Okay, so will you say then that those that find it, those in the disability community that find it difficult to find love, will you say it's based on their person and their belief?
Yes, it has to do with their person and how they relate with the next person, because it involves mutual trust and care. So you cannot, because you have one form of disability or not, does not take away the fact that you have to show the other person care. Do you understand? Yes, so it has nothing to do. So if you have the ability to trust and show and return that care which the other person has given to you, of course I see no reason why such person cannot return same care. So it has nothing to do with disability. It just depends on how you manage that relationship with that person. So I think it has nothing to do with disability. That's my opinion.
And I think I've picked a few things from what you've said now. You made mention of passion, you made mention of trust, and you also made mention of commitment. And I think
and intimacy,
and intimacy, yes. So I think one thing I've gotten from that is that if I am, or someone, a person living with disability should first of all trust the person that he wants to get into a romantic relationship with, and then therefore disability will no longer become a barrier.
Okay, now let's see, you know, you cannot fall in love with somebody that you have not interacted with or seen.
True.
Right?
Very true.
So if you are talking with somebody, for instance, and let me say this before I continue, I think some of those persons that has this impression actually, I would say it is a societal thing. Yes, because if you have not come close to me, if you have not come too close to me, because people will see you from a distance and conclude that this person will not be able to love. So if you don't come to me, and there's no way I can extend that care, intimacy and commitment to you, if you don't know me. I don't even understand.
Yes,
so,
I do.
And that's why I say it depends on how you manage it, because you can only manage somebody who is close to you. So if you fail to manage it, that's the way you will begin to say, okay, maybe it was difficult for you to get love. Because if you are interacting with somebody that you have not met, at that point the person would not be able to detect whether you have one disability or not until you are able to. So it is a society. Okay, it is a societal something. Do you understand? Because if I can talk, I can be communicating with you for 5 years without letting you know if I have one disability or not. There is no way, as long as I will be able to express that love to you. So so that's what matters.
That makes sense. And the society, I feel like society brings a stereotype sometimes. Because you've not met someone with disability and you just feel like they feel sorry and they cannot find love. And love is for everybody. Everybody wants to.
That's why I started by saying that it is a gift from God. And when God gives that gift to mankind, God did not say, okay, this one will go to a person with disability and this one will go to persons without disability. So love is a gift to mankind, so you can enjoy it depending on how you view it.
Okay, let's dive a little more personal to you.
Okay.
So you're married, sir.
Yes.
Your wife, is she with or without disability?
Is without any form of disability.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So before you got married, in your dating phase, did you date a person, like person living with disability, before you got married?
I never dated
a person. Wow. You see, I feel like society sometimes make it seem like persons with disability should either be married or date a person with disability and not come close to people without disability.
And that's okay. Sorry.
And it's no, sir. And it's very nice for us to see now that it should not be like that. And you said you've never dated, you did not date any person with disability before getting married. Wow. So, sir, talking about a little bit to your wife now. When you guys were getting married, did like family come as a barrier within that period?
Okay, like I said, if you don't go close to someone, you will not be able to know whether this person has the ability to express love or not. And love is not just about mere words, I love you. It involves those 3 things that I mentioned earlier. If you can show that commitment to a woman, the woman will forget automatically that they have one form of disability or not. All right? So when we started, to answer your question, when we started, she saw me somewhere and she was the one that approached me.
Wow.
And when we started, she went home to inform her parents that this is the kind of person she was about
Wants to
18 months.
marry
Yes.
to.
So such, you know,
Yeah.
like, so it was like, are you sure you are going to cope? I didn't say a word. I didn't even go with her.
Wow.
So she now told the dad that, father, I've seen this person. I think you see what I'm saying. Like,
Yes.
like I have to go close to the person. That I've seen this person and I know what I am
I
going.
want.
Yes, I know this person and this is exactly who I
she
want.
wants.
So
Wow.
I didn't say anything up till now. So at a point she came to me and began to tell me that some of her friends have been telling her that, how are you going to cope with somebody with disability? And at a point she got angry. And then I told her, I said, you don't need to get angry. That's because if you have not seen me and somebody
Yes.
approach you that, please, I want you to get married to this person, you'll be
Yes,
very
you
angry.
know.
So you have come close to me and you saw something.
Yes.
You understand? So you don't need to blame others because they don't know
They
me,
don't know
they don't
what
come
she
close to me,
knows.
and they
Yes,
don't know
sir.
what they have. So that's what that was it.
We have to cut it short a little bit
All right.
because so far the conversation has been going amazingly well in the studio, but we have to go on a real quick short break, and when we get back we'll continue the conversation with Mr. Igwe. Thank you. Welcome back from that very quick break. The break we talked about NAVID hosting palliative for persons with disability this December, because everybody has to celebrate this December, and as NAVID we'll be sharing palliative for members of NAVID and persons living with disability, and you can also support and be a huge part of this movement. So welcome back, Mr. Igwe.
Thank
so
you
we were
so
talking earlier about family and
Yes.
how you made mention of how your wife was the first person to introduce you to her family
Yes.
because she saw exactly what she wanted.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about the family acceptance and all about that?
Okay, like I stated earlier, when she went to inform her parents,
Yeah.
I didn't go with her. So it was when she came back and she started telling me the reservation that the family members had. So the following day, she had she was invited to come home over the same matter. So she now told everybody that I have seen this person,
Yes.
I've lived with this person. All right. In
Yes.
fact, this person does almost everything at home. So this is exactly the kind of
Who she
person.
wants.
Yes, it's not because I have money. I don't have money. You understand? So she saw something.
Yes,
And she,
exactly what she
yes,
wanted.
she saw something and she knew what she wanted, and that's what is important in every relationship.
Yes, you mentioned that she made mention of seeing you could do things. So I want to talk about domestically at
Okay,
home.
okay.
What is it like? Because I know a lot of persons are
Yes.
usually very curious
Yes.
on how getting married to a person living with disability or living with a person with disability. What's like the day-to-day activity or struggle? Is there like a struggle?
Yeah.
Or just tell us about the domestic life and what it's like.
Okay. Like I stated earlier, for you to enjoy love or relationship,
Yes.
you have to, as in, to show some level of commitment, irrespective of whether you have disabilities or not. Something must keep you. Like you may use prayer to get into a home or to get a job or to get married,
Yes.
but other things will have to keep you in that relationship, right?
Yes, very
now, I'll say this. I don't know if my wife is watching. Do you understand?
We hope she is.
Yeah. So, but I will tell you that. Okay, we got married on the 6th of September.
Wow.
But I can tell you that my wife has only cooked 4 times since we got married.
Wow. Wow.
Only
That's
4 times.
interesting.
So that's good. In fact, there is an argument in the house now whether I cook better than my
Better than
wife.
she
Yeah.
does.
So that's how I'll end it. so that
That's
it
interesting.
will not look as if my wife is not cooking for me.
No, not at all. We love the fact that this made me quite happy because I love the fact that you're also very involved.
Yes.
And this is something that even persons without disability argue.
Yes.
You see men without disability that do not even want to cook for their wife.
Okay,
and
yes.
it's different now.
Of course. So yesterday I was at the High Court, like with a colleague, and we were discussing about family matters. So yeah, I told him that for like since we got married, that my wife has only cooked with her house for that. He said, He said he will never try it as long as like he's married, that he will never go to kitchen. So it is an individual thing. So how you, if you know what to work in your marriage, you just do it.
That makes sense. Whatever works for you. This is so for love. It's more of a personal thing, not any disability that's come with it. And even for couples or persons without disability, they have to still be commitment, because if not, the marriage or the relationship will not work. So commitment is the main and the principal thing.
And it was one of the things that my wife saw before he liked me, that I could do. You know, once a woman sees that she's coming to your house to add more problems, stress, it will not come.
True.
I wash my clothes myself.
Wow.
So sometimes when I see that my wife is very tired, I help her clean the bedroom everywhere.
Wow.
You understand? So it is something must, you must show some level of commitment. You don't need to let her know that okay, she's coming to carry all the stress.
And I think that's one thing a lot of people are afraid of, coming into a marriage and carrying all the burden by themselves. And I think we should divert a little bit from the home and let's talk about like in society. For instance, are you a Christian? You're a Christian.
I am a Christian.
So what was like it for members of the church? Were they open to the marriage? Were they supportive, or were there objections here and there for you in church?
I was personally, before we got married, a pastor of the church actually liked me very well. You understand? He knows my capability. So and the daughter is also a member of the church. So it was something that everybody was actually looking happy. So even though there might be some side talk, he's getting married to somebody there. So, but I can tell you that, in fact, that day, everybody, like the whole hall, was here. So it is something that everybody actually was happy about.
Yes. Wow, thank you. So from that, we know that nothing is don't be afraid for what church will say, what family will say. Mr. Igwe's story is a perfect example that disability is not the first thing. It is first commitment that counts. We'll be going on another short break, and when we come back, we'll say more about the topic. Welcome back. We know love is giving and love is sharing. So be a part of NAVID's movement this December to share love to the persons with disabilities community. You can support us by sending funds to the account number we displayed before. You can visit us at 34 Arosa Street off Sankomba Road. Thank you. And Mr. Igwe, as we round up, what is one word or something you like to say to persons with disability that are looking for love currently?
Okay. Okay, one word I would say to them is that one, they have to understand that love involves mutual trust and care. You must show love to the person that you are expecting love from. And secondly, you have to work on yourself. You understand? Yeah, you have to work on yourself so that you'll be able to attract exactly what you want.
Yes, thank you so very much, Mr. Igwe Friday. It was amazing having you on the studio today, and I'm sure we had an amazing session today. And also, we say thank you to our sign language interpreter and Cynthia Godwin Aya. And also remember that this is the season of love. Make sure to share love to those around you, and remember, spot the itch and be a voice. Thank you for joining us today.
ITV, certainly the best.
Certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy. Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.
Certainly the best.
Great to have you join us on Politics Today as we begin with two major developments shaping Nigeria's national conversation. First, the escalating wave of insecurity once again grips the nation. Another disturbing incident which emerged from Niger State, where a Catholic school suffered yet another abduction, raising urgent questions about our security strategy, the safety of our educational institutions, and of course the broader implications for communities living under constant threat. Well, we will be examining the factors behind this troubling trend and what resolutions might look like. And later on the show, we will turn our gaze on the controversy surrounding Nnamdi Kanu, whose life sentence ruling has sparked intense political, legal, and of course social debate. What does this decision mean? Troubling decision, you may say, for national cohesion, the rule of law, and of course the road ahead for Nigeria. We'll also explore how this moment could shape the country's political landscape in the months to come. Of course, we have a panel of analysts standing by to break down these issues from every angle. And still with me, my name is Philip Omogyupo. Never will I forget that. And don't forget that as we progress on the show, listeners on independent radio and of course viewers on independent television will be allowed to join. Via the course, you will be pouring in others for free. And of course, I will be urging you to be civil in your presentation. And of course, quickly hitting the ground, running on what we have today, starting with my guests in the studio. At my extreme left, I have a professor from Novena University, Professor Tony Joweri. Big thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And next, just at the extreme, is a politician, and he is Honorable Etiosa Igebo. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers. Thank you.
And of course, I have a reverend with me, also a legal practitioner, Barrister Greg Iyayi. Big thanks for taking time to be here.
Good morning, Philip, and good morning, viewers and listeners on radio.
Well, we'll be extending the discussion to virtually to a global analyst joining us via Zoom from the United Kingdom, and it is Chief Daniel Akwemokan Matthews. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, my brother? And to my esteemed...
Awesome, amazing.
And the professor, I agree to good morning.
Thank you, Chief. Also joining us via Zoom, as you can see, from the FCT Abuja, is another fine legal practitioner, Damisa Itote. Good morning, Damisa.
Good morning, Mr. Philip. Good morning, panelists. Good morning to you, Nigerians, and of course the listeners on radio.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you.
Big thanks. All right. So let's quickly assess and unpack these issues. You know, I'm starting with you, Honorable Etiosa Igebo. We've been having troubling issues, and of course, we've seen recurring decimal from one administration to another. Well, we have the 2027 big election here, and looking at what we have in our hands, which started with the schoolgirls at Kebbi, and of course, just 4 days later, we heard about that out Niger State with St. Mary's Catholic School. Now, troubling issues as these. Some say it could be politically motivated. And others say, well, we seem not to have a wherewithal at government level to tackle this issue of insecurity. I don't know if you see it as politically motivated or lack of political will on the part of the president.
Well, I think it's politically motivated. And before I dabble more into that, I think I want to remind our people that I wouldn't necessarily think it is a lack of goodwill or willingness from the government, because there are actually military personnel involved, and in most cases we'll lose some of them in the point of contact. So this is about a nation, people putting in the effort to be at the battlefront, in some cases losing personnel who has loved ones. And I don't think we should trivialize it to say that government would, you know what I mean, ignore that sacrifice.
Or lacks political will to do the needful.
So I think it's political, because this whole adoption reminds us very vividly of the Chibok girls. Whenever there's an election coming, or maybe they feel that there's a particular president they don't like, elements within the space politically, I'm a politician too, I believe very strongly that they start using certain militia that they keep somewhere to attack soft targets, all in the name of to discredit the government. You know, that is the closest I would think of if I have to be very sincere with my conversation. However, that doesn't mean that there are no challenges logistically or tactically on the part of the military. Because remember, before this whole incident came up again now, that has become a talking point across the nation and all over the world, even when President Trump is mentioning a country of particular concern because Christians have been killed in any way or form. There are periods and times before now when the country enjoyed some level of security. Like for instance, I spoke to people in Sabah, Kaduna, who lived there, who used to suffer insecurity. And in the last year and a half, into the 2 years since the president have come on board, they can literally go everywhere in Kaduna. Why all of a sudden this whole thing has started again. So I think Nigerians should really wake up and make a choice to whether they're going to defend their country against those fifth columnists in this country who feels they're involved in politics, or they're in the military system, or they're in the intelligence system, or whichever ways that maybe they've got enough money that they've siphoned from systems even before the subsidy was removed, and they can use that to distort what is right and what is wrong, to constantly get us to smack our heads together and not even know who are the true indigenous of this land, who is fighting for this peace to return, or those who are failing it. So I think it's about time we should take a step back and really reflect deeply and support the government of this country in order to get real intelligence. And because these people, we know, from facts, I've spoken to people in high places, they do know where they are and who they are about.
Exactly where I was going.
And then I think our people should reclaim their country back, support the government, and get rid of these people.
All right, thank you. Now, we're about looking at issues surrounding how to close the gaps. Obviously, we know that Nigeria has been a hotbed for insecurity, and of course, how to tackle this headlong has been an issue that we've been dealing with for decades now. I don't know your thoughts on this, Professor Tony Jewere.
Well, I think to solve a problem, you have to look at the genesis, the background of the problem. When you talk about insecurity in Nigeria, we don't have to politicize it. The whole thing really started from Buhari's regime. We have to delete Buhari's regime. We have to be honest with ourselves. We remember when he said if he doesn't win that election, in that year, that blood will flow like Babu. And in the process, for God's sake, he invited these militias, these fighters from neighboring countries, okay? And they were stationed in different parts of the country, just in case he did not win that election. And at the end of the day, Jonathan being a peaceful man, the former President Jonathan being a peaceful man, he now gave up and said, hey, now congratulated him in advance. Oh, you won the election, congratulations. So these mercenaries that were invited into the country had no job to do. So in the process, they approached El-Rufai and of course Buhari, who invited them. What do we do? Pay us our dues. When you pay us our dues, we go. And those ones say, hey, gentlemen, there's no job to be done again because, a new government is in place. There's nothing like fight and all that again. And so, for the sake of survival, they started doing all sorts of things, went to the trenches, started kidnapping, and doing all sorts of. So new groups started emerging in the process because they now discovered that there's money in the business, and the president at that time could not do much because he knows that he is the root cause of the whole thing, and that is why you see the moment they are even arrested, within a short time they are let go, and so the thing continues. And when these other groups discover that, oh, there's money in this business, more groups started emerging. And what happened? Then this sentiment of Niger Delta thing, amnesty program. But I said, okay, in view of all what do we do? The same people who were beneficiaries now suggested, oh, let's also give them amnesty. Are you getting it? Yeah. Let's also give them, they now give the amnesty. They were treated as a beautiful bride. Give them uniform, fed them, put them in good hotels and all that and all that. Then the interesting thing, let me shock you, they now integrated them into Nigerian army. Okay, and when that happens, what do you expect? Of course, they started giving information back to their colleagues, in the trenches, in the trenches. And in view of that, when Nigerian army now goes for genuine operations, to attack these people, they will give them information. Then that's why you start having landmines planted in strategic places and all that. And any operation Nigerian army wants to, they will also give the information. Yeah. So it's like there's an internal problem, so the Nigerian within the Nigerian army. So they couldn't do much at the end of the day. And it's unfortunate that Tinubu inherited that type of system, insecurity. And so there's little or nothing he can really do, except the army sanitized, and all these people are discovered, and separated, filtered. That's the word I was looking for. Filtered away from the Nigerian army. Okay. If that is not done, the problem continues.
Okay, we have a very delicate situation on our hands, most especially as we have different figures being peddled, as per the students that have been, abducted in Niger State. We're still looking for the orders at Kebbi, and we have various numbers being peddled, which is quite alarming. I don't know how you want this to be fixed, because most especially when we look at situations where year in, year out, every 4 years, we have elections coming up. And of course, they keep giving us promises, but there's this need for us to be proactive in governance. How do you see the lapses being closed under the present administration of President Tinubu?
What the man sows, he will reap. We should look at some of the people in power today. How did they come to power? It was by sowing and encouraging insecurity and making insecurity a campaign slogan. And we all know it. Then we can't run away from it. What you sow, you will reap. What we might be reaping today is what was sown. And the people who sowed it, we know them. Kabiru Sokoto, who went to a church, and then with his men, about 25 people were killed, the Catholic Church. DSS was looking for him. Other security agencies were looking for him. Eventually, they tracked him to the guest house of a governor in the administration at that time. And because it was a government house, the president has to waive immunity for them to attack. And they did. And they found him there. He was sitting on the table over very sumptuous breakfast.
Yes.
A very sumptuous breakfast. And he was arrested. That government official is a top government official in this present administration. That will tell you the root of the insecurity. It was meant to spite Jonathan, to discredit him, and then to oust him from power. And the people who did that, they're in this administration.
Yes.
So eventually, what they sowed is what they are reaping. Just like the prof has analyzed. They couldn't pay them. They couldn't compensate them. So those people have to find things for themselves. You see, if you are desperate for power, and you want to get power, even at the expense of your own country, this is the kind of thing that you get from it.
Well, it's quite challenging, most especially where the president had to, suspend at the point his trip, his foreign trip, and of course over the Kebbi schoolgirls abduction. And again, another one happened. We don't know what the president will do this time. If we will suspend the forthcoming trip again.
I'm sorry to cut you short. You see, one has even just happened again now. I was looking at the media just now. In Nasarawa.
In Nasarawa.
Okay,
in
Nasarawa.
Okay, well, escalating issues like this, let's join you, Damisa Itoti from Abuja. Now, we have challenges where even the president said that the Minister of Defense should shift base to Kebbi. Now, another one happened in Niger State. We don't know if the minister will again shift base to Niger State. Or just like what we just hearing now about Nasarawa. Now, what exactly can be done in all of this? Do you see the president as having challenges of lacking political will in this? Damisa Itoti, can you hear me, please? I asked, what are your thoughts about how to tackle this issue headlong? Because the president did say that the Minister of Defense should shift base to Kebbi, but another one happened at Niger, and of course we're just hearing reports at Nasarawa. What do you see as ways in which this dreaded monster of insecurity can be tackled headlong?
Okay, well, thank you for having me once again. For me, I sincerely express my sympathies, over this kidnap and the endless bloodbath across the country, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. I sincerely pray and hope that the little girls who are, schooling, who are receiving formal education, be brought back to their family, to be reunited with their family, alongside everyone that has been, taken into captivity by this dreaded monster. It's painful, and I feel for the families and, of course, the little ones that are currently away from the classrooms where they ought to be if we were in a sane, society. Mr. Philip, back to your question.
Well, I don't know. Well, we sincerely apologize for the break in transmission. Second by technical hitch. Well, I believe as we're able to restore that, we'll be getting back to Damisa Itote. Damisa Itote, are you there? Can you continue from where you left off, please?
You can hear me. Can you hear me? Yes,
I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Where I stopped, but I was okay. I said I was emphasizing with the little, children, pupil, and other people were, of course, taken into captivity. And for me, we've traced the issue. Your very robust panelists have, traced the issues. The question is that what is the way forward? One thing I really want to dwell on is that we are over-concentrating our effort on 2027 that we are not even yet guaranteed of.
Certainly.
We seem to be playing politics other than governance. See defection of sitting governors, defection here and here, all get towards 2027. Why re-governance has taken the back seat? I think that is the problem, basically. If we are sincere in tackling this situation, this insecurity situation, we should come up and examine or interrogate basic issues. What are those issues? One, personnel training. Well-equipped personnel training. Re-establishment of a broader curriculum in our security institutions, where modernized way of confronting wars, quote and unquote, asymmetric wars that are currently going on, and that should be tackled. But we discover that we are not doing that. Monies are voted for security, but you see schools being built in the villages of service chiefs, houses being built by service chiefs, military service chiefs, conference halls springing up across the nation. Is that the commandate of our military personnel or of the military to be building primary schools, building conference centers and everything with money that were earmarked for security or for security purposes? Basically, these are the issues we should be interrogating. That we should be interrogating the professionalism of our military. Then the homeland security, the disjointed nature. So the homeland security, the architectural security of our internal, the internal security within the country is heavily disjointed. We now react to issue. We are very reactive to issue instead of being preventive. Instead of integration, there is a total disjointment of the security architecture. So these are the issues. The DSS report directly to the president. The other security agencies like the immigration, NSCDC, they're under the administrative power of the Ministry of Interior. The police, it reports to the Ministry of Police Affairs, and so many other disjointed security apparatus. So how do we expect to have results? We cannot have results. So my suggestion or my recommendation is this. We should have a unified internal security mechanism or internal security framework that aligns with global best practices under the single leadership of a civilian-led administrator. So that all these other, sisters agencies, in fact, customs, which controls borders, report to the Ministry of Finance. That is not logical. Custom controls, but they report to Ministry of Finance. They are in another different ministry. So you see that the chain of command is not unified. So a DSS will give reports or give a security report. Police will be very reluctant in picking it or enacting on it. NSCDC will take because they receive instruction from other agencies and all of that. So that is where the problem is. Our security architecture is disjointed. It is disintegrated. So it must be, we must involve ways by which we should have one single homeland security architecture under the headship of a civilian-led administrator, so that there can be a chain of command that will be followed directly down, to the lowest echelon. I think that is my position. If we fail to do that, then we are not there yet, or we are not even ready to take,
Thank you,
the giant.
Let's shift our gaze to Chief Daniel Akwemokan Matthews. Well, we've been on this road, though, and it's quite difficult to really unpack this, most especially where over 200, as Punch newspaper reported, about 215 students, that are declared abducted at the Niger, school, Catholic school. And of course, we still have the numbers of Kebbi. Now, there were issues surrounding the President of America, what he said concerning Nigeria of particular concerns. And of course, that sparked political debate, social debate across the world. But what do you see as ways to close this gap? And of course, how to tackle this issue of lack of political will that you may think exists, or lack of, intelligence gathering or tactics that could help to salvage this issue? Chief Daniel.
Thank you very much. A nation full of religious and tribal bigots. And to be honest, it's also full of going on in Nigeria. From what is happening in Kwara, Niger, and all across. That genocide now is so obvious that over 200 girls or more, or thereabout, are kidnapped in a Catholic school in Niger State. So for me, until we come to grip that this so-called Nigeria needs to be re-examined and reimagined, then people like El Rufai, who we know is a terrorist sponsorer, and also with the late evil Buhari, who we know is the father of the bloodshed going on in Nigeria, and confronts them, then we will never be able to address the issue, no matter what strategic purpose we have. Because it's obviously clear that some people are behind this who are powerful in the government. And until we address this, there's nothing. Even if the whole America, Europe, and the whole world were to come, what happened in Somalia will happen. Will be fractionized, will be destroyed, and will never be able to be put together until we deal with one single thing, that we have politicians who are not cowards. We have traditional leaders who actually lead their people, who are not bought off. We have local people who valued other people's life just as much as theirs, who start speaking up and start defending one another. So what the fine gentleman in Abuja just illustrated is a strategic thinking of somebody with critical mind. But majority of our politicians are just political opportunists. They are not interested in governing. They're only interested in the next election. They're already spending money for the next election rather than governing to prove themselves of capability to be re-elected. So until we address that and start focusing on that, calling out those political opportunists, low IQ politicians, all our problem can be politically solved. Our problem is not a military problem. It's not a religious problem. It's not even a tribal problem. It's a political problem, a political will. And I call the president, indirectly the president. I believe in him. I'm going to support him. I'm campaigning already for him for 2027. But if the president is not a coward, if he's a man of integrity and value, who value life above politics, who value a little child, regardless the religion that has been kidnapped, he needs to show his braveness in this matter. Into the armed forces should be all those who served 8 years underneath the evil Buhari and did nothing should be purged out immediately. Those are just basic two things they can start with, and immediately give the military a full total backing to go after anybody, in not just the terrorists, but anybody aiding, supporting, sponsoring the terrorists and alienate them. That is an easy demand or request of somebody who's not a coward. I remember when an outside lady said before the election, spoke to the president and asked the president, what do you have for us in the north? The president said nothing, because if I do, they will kill me. I do not want the coward as a president. In Nigeria, there's nobody above the president. The president to show his bravery, his audacity to be president, the audacity to say, Miloko, it's my turn. And in his turn, he needs to turn this around and jettison the evil of Buhari, jettison the evil of El Rufai. We have to be a nation that is not a nation of religious bigotry, political cowardice, and handicap military for us to really address this issue. And it's only through politics, not military intervention, not foreign intervention, not any foreign aid will do that. It's only through politics. And politics, not a politics of cowardness, we can fix this. And I believe we have some good politicians who are more capable and credible to do this. One of them is the president, but he needs to rise to the occasion. One of them is the president that needs to rise to the occasion, and rise the most, because the nation demands that he does this and fix this problem, and don't live as a coward, because this will ruin his legacy forever. No matter economic policy, no matter development policy that he may have achieved to date, this insecurity that I failed or cowardly not addressing fully.
Thank you, Chief Daniel. Thank you, Chief Daniel. I know you are quite agitated, but we'll come back to you. But let's quickly acknowledge what you said. Basically, your bold statements made in that direction. Even though you said that you were campaigning for the president come 2027, but you need him not to be a coward, but to sit back and make sure that he drives the figures in order to tackle insecurity. But our panelists made just some solutions that could be seen as long-term. But again, there is an immediate need to get these children out of being abducted. We have hundreds of them now, as reports have it. And how can they be released? Should we go about the ransom payment as a way to release them just now? So we're looking at a very, very short-term solution. But that will come after this short break. Do stay. Well, just as we are having issues surrounding insecurity that's quite escalating, again, we're also having issues surrounding, you know, the life sentencing given to Nnamdi Kanu, and of course, what spills this could be having, you know, politically, and of course, security-wise. We have the IPOB, and of course, the sit-at-home order, and of course, all that happens to deal with, you know, regional issues. Now, let's come to you, Honorable Etiosa. What do you see as a short-term plan in order to get these children released, you know, the students released? Of course, staff are also involved. And of course, we also have the challenge where even in Katsina, where ransom payment has taken a high toll to the point where even, you know, bandits, terrorists are moving freely in the society. Now, should we go this way?
Yeah, I think with the reduction of manpower and the cost of security operations in Nigeria due to over 15 years of insecurity problems, a lot of money has been pushed in there. It is almost impossible to have every sort of gadgets or the manpower that we need to secure everywhere. Most of these places where these things are happening are very remote areas. You can almost, if you go there, you can almost think that this is not even Nigeria.
So,
but then again,
what's the short-term plan?
But then again,
ransom payment?
I mean, I don't necessarily think ransom payments. The people in the locals and the bandits that interfaces for whatever they are doing understands that this may be the group that came to do X, Y, Z. If they give the right information to the personnel and they're able to negotiate with them, or maybe go in and try and release those kids, whichever way, I think they should also seek for more technological support in terms of using drones and bringing in more advanced countries' contribution, because we've had bilateral relationship with a lot of these European countries and Americans, so that they can have some sort of deterrence. As much as these kids have been kidnapped is bad, but this is the same model with Chibok girls. And for like
and we still have some numbers that have not been.
My brothers has been saying.
Yes, that have not been.
The people that are here, the big shots that are here, that are supporting this cause, needs to be tackled. And these problems also goes back to the Western countries, because a lot of the support they get comes from the West as well. So if the West, if they can negotiate with the Western countries more to stop the support, because a price of an AK-47 is over 7 million naira. Talk less of having a supposed to air missile, machine gun. So when these aspects are stopped, then negotiation or paying ransom can become a thing of the past. So you can negotiate whether you pay ransom or you get them out through kinetic way. Tomorrow they may do another one in a soft-targeted area. There are mines everywhere.
I'm giving you about just 2 minutes each to finalize this as regards the short-term plan. I don't believe you are looking forward to ransom payments. Professor
No, I think it's more than just looking at short-term plan. We have to also look at the root cause of this problem.
Which
we can deal with the root cause.
But how do we solve it?
Yes, how do we solve it? Is to remove all these Boko Haram people in the army, filter them out.
That's a long-term plan.
Yes.
I'm talking about the children that are languishing as we speak right now.
Yes.
How can they be rescued?
Well, what do you expect? Ransom now. No, it's ransom. Because in Katsina State, a few months ago, if government can start negotiating with terrorists, they even came with their ammunitions, everything and all that. I would expect that the Air Force will go there, bomb nonsense out of those baggers.
But that would be difficult to do now.
No,
that would be difficult to do now.
Yeah, because the children so at the end of the day, it's still going to end up with a ransom. That's the point I'm making. You know that, but it will not solve the problem. It will not solve the problem. It's only a temporary solution. It will not. So it's like you have typhoid and you are taking paracetamol.
Okay. Do you agree to that, Barrister Greg? Do you agree to that? That there should be ransom payments since we don't have any other way to go about it?
No, there are other ways.
Or there can be a drastic action that can be taken by the army.
Very drastic action. You see, you don't negotiate with terrorists.
Exactly.
And it has been proved over and over that when you negotiate with terrorists, you are only arming them. Obama did that to Iran, 100 billion. And Iran became the bully of the Middle East. But Trump subdued them. It took only 36 hours. And the planes went there, bombed the hell out of them.
Exactly.
And they humbled Iran. And there's some reasonable peace in the Middle East.
All right.
So I think the government should do the needful. They can collaborate. Britain pays £9 billion to Israel for intelligence gathering. 9 billion pounds to Israel every year.
Wow.
No, because Britain knows the limitation of their intelligence units. And then they also know, the global stretch of Israel's own. They pay them to do it.
But by the time you mention this bogus amount and you expect the government of Nigeria to do same, the big problem will be, will these funds not be misappropriated?
When they
have prevented
but
it.
But will the funds not be misappropriated?
That's another
Are we not
dimension.
going to go the way of borrowing?
Yes.
That's another issue.
So what I'm saying, with global collaboration, this problem of terrorism, the immediate one will be taken care of. And then future ones will be forestalled.
Okay, pour your calls at us. The number will be displayed on the screen right about now. And of course, for listeners on Independent Radio, we verbalize it so that you can be part of it. And quickly, let's get your contributions, listeners, and of course, viewers on Independent Television. Let's quickly go to you, Damisa, as we round off on this first topic. What do you see as the short-term plan in order to get these children rescued?
Okay, for me, the honest truth is that Nigeria's internal weakness makes external narrative very easy. We must control our narrative. And in the interim, do whatever you need to do to get every kidnapped Nigerian out of the bush or wherever they are kept. I have children, I have nephews, I have cousins, I have nieces. So I can practically share in the pains of parents and family members of those whose children, whose brothers, whose sisters have been kidnapped. So do whatever you need to do as a government. Where you fail to use the monies available to you to secure Nigerians, use those monies wherever you want to use it, technologically or otherwise. Bring those kids back to their respective homes. Any means possible. Any means possible, I repeat. Get these kids out, please.
You know you are a fine legal practitioner. When you say any means possible, you are trying to dodge the aspect of even if it means paying ransom. Why don't you just say it critically? All right, let's get to you, Chief Daniel. Do you subscribe to what has been said about ransom payment as the short-term plan?
Absolutely not. And it would be a foolish errand. And basically, we're giving them more money to do what they are doing and doing it more. Good example, when America citizens were kidnapped in the north, America came all the way from America, flew in, go into the Zambezi or wherever they are, rescue their own people without a single peep. And they were able to do it and successfully left the country without a single peep. If they can, we can get their assistance. And secondly, we need to be realistic. When we talk of global cooperation, there are 5 people deported from Dubai because in Dubai, they are Muslims. The Dubai government deemed them to be terrorist financier, deported back to Nigeria, and nothing was heard of them. Short-time fix. If we don't know where the terrorists are, the Nigerian government, allegedly, Gome knows. Gome goes and speak and dine with them. Gome was rejected from entering Saudi Arabia, the most holy land for Muslims. He wasn't allowed to come and pray to the God himself because they deemed him to be an evil terrorist. Gome walked freely and advocated for the terrorist, not the victim. Arrest Gome, put Gome in jail. Arrest those people who are defending, explaining, and rationalizing them. Gome goes to the camp. If Gome is not taking the army to the camp, since the army allegedly cannot find them, then Gome should take us to the camp. And finally, yes, we should go in with all the might of Nigerian government and Nigerian military. We should go in and bomb them to hell. If some of the children were to be lost in the process, so be it. If my child was among it, I'll say yes, so be it as well. So that they do not have the audacity to do it again or again and again. They will keep doing it if we keep having this further approach. A terrorist is a terrorist, and a terrorist who is a fundamentalist, you cannot change the fundamentalist perception. They believe in Takia. Takia means the art of deception. And they will continue to lie to you.
Daniel, I always enjoy when you speak, most especially when you make some bold statements and sacrifices that we must make as Nigerians going forward. You made mention of the fact that even if your children or any of your child is involved, you don't mind that you should bomb them, even if the children are involved in it. But that's a very hard saying. Well, let's look at the second topic, which is mind-boggling. And again, we need to keep Nigeria united. And some have said that with the life sentencing of Nnamdi Kanu, that brings a whole challenge again concerning the restiveness we have in the eastern region, and of course, how will that gravitate into more insecurity. So, do we seek a political solution? I'll give you 1 minute to react on that, Honorable Etiosa.
Well, to me, I kept asking the questions all the time why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, when he was in London broadcasting on Biafra Radio, why he wouldn't use his position to nominate people to run in a particular political party and direct his people, since they listen to him, to vote for that particular person as governors of the southeastern states, House of Rep members, senators, and then on that nucleus of being the leader, bring out different appointees from the southeast and work with them to develop their state, rather than turning into getting people, making threats to the Nigerian state, calling it a zoo, and then put himself in a tight corner. And at the end of the day, two wrongs don't make it right. I strongly believe that what happened to Nnamdi Kanu was not the right way to go, but he caused himself that problem. However, if terrorists and bandits are captured, prosecuted, and released back to the community in the Northeast, I also believe that he from the Southeast should be treated the same. Not to say that the things that he did was right, because even a blind man can see. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that he should have known better to understand this peculiar region and how things are done, that things are not balanced.
But I think irrespective of that, for national reconciliation, there should be a political solution
also believe
to release him from jail.
I also believe that the process is ongoing. By the time it goes to appeal and Supreme, whatever decisions that they make,
I just want to hit the point.
The president is in a position to also find a political solution. But then again, that move and way that he followed was not right. That is why he's going through what he's going through now.
Well, for national reconciliation, I don't know what the thoughts are. Let's get your thoughts, listeners, and of course viewers on independent television. Good morning. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and let's get your response. Your name quickly.
Okay, Raf.
Your name is Raf? Did you say Raf?
Raf, the Oracle. What do you want me to say?
Okay. Make your contribution quickly.
I think the president is the chief commander of the armed forces. That is very conspicuous on the Constitution, section 130, subsection 2. He is coming as a Milocom, renew hope, so on and so forth. Subsidy is gone. Tax reform fee. Is that how it's going to follow the nation? Money, 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 money. The military, they're not there to be guarding a plot of land. They have to be defending the country. For it to be protecting the country, they are no more. Backing the military and the soldiers all for themselves. I think the president needs to resign. By now, all the Donald Trump who said he wants to go to Nigeria, he should come and help us. Because their aim and objective is money, money. Many private jets, do they have these married women, leaving the people who they swear at oath to live in the abode of blood.
Thank you so much, Raf. Well, I think that's a very challenging one. The president has got a very risky, delicate situation on his hand, most especially as this issue of kidnapping, abduction, really the masses are bearing the brunt. We don't hear about the political class, much of that happening from that angle. But let's look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes, when you look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu, I think it's a case of agitation, which he has a right, but the methodology has a problem, you know, because if you look at the terrorist act, you know, of 2013, it's clear that an individual should not, you know, go into this agitation against his nation.
So he broke that?
Yes, so he violated that. And don't forget that this case involved about 5 different judges until eventually it was on 6 accounts, you know, and at the end of the day, it was found wanting.
So you mean the judgment was fair?
Yes, on those 6 accounts. Yeah. You know, we're looking at the case on its face value right now, on 6 accounts. And what he was hammering on, that's why you need legal aid. What he was hammering on was this Section 4, you know, of the Evidence Act, you know, that says, hey, once a case starts with an old law, that old law remains. You can't say the new law have to be administered.
Okay, but are you saying for the sake of national reconciliation, it shouldn't be related?
Yes. You know, because that's what he was hammering on. That's why I said Omotosho does not know the law. That's why he was hammering, but it was wrong because the Constitution does not say that. So, having done that, I think the best thing that has happened. You know, let me shock you.
What best has happened? Let's look at a way of healing the country.
Yes.
For national reconciliation, what
good. Yeah, but the law.
Should we leave it on what it is now?
Wait. Now the law have to take its course first. If later in the future, like President Tinubu eventually get amnesty,
maybe 10 years
to some way, I don't know. But let the law take its course first. Then after that, the president may do the needful.
All right, let's get a thought on that, Barrister Greg. But before that, let's quickly take your call. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, quickly.
This is my name. I'm calling from Nigeria.
We didn't get the name. Repeat it again, please.
Edos.
Okay. Go ahead, Edos.
Hello, good morning. If you recall, my dear brother who is listening, the World War II, this matter started when Wan Yusuf started this war against government of Obasanjo around 1994, our President Obasanjo. But in addition, the other one that started again, at the time that one Supreme said they should operate on Sharia in North. What I'm trying to say in nutshell, that they said they don't want foreign education.
Okay, go straight to the point, Mr. Edos. Go straight to the point quickly, please. You have just 10 seconds.
Okay, now, the country is giving us a headache, both the South and the North. Why can't we do this? The Christians should join hands together and discuss what to do next. We cannot continue to remain like this.
Okay. All right.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Edos. Okay, over to you, Ben.
Hassan Katsina, Gowon, and some other military officers from the north once said that Nigeria should be broken into pieces. What happened to them? Hassan Katsina later became the chief of army staff. Gowon became the head of state. What of Sunday Igboho? Did Sunday Igboho not call for Odua Republic? Is he in prison? Has he been tried? Has he been sentenced?
Okay.
Why Kanu Nnamdi? Jonathan was told that he should go after Kanu Nnamdi. When he listed Nigeria's problem, he said Kanu Nnamdi's own is the list of all of them. So let him face governors. And then what is somebody, going with flag and saying Biafra Republic, and that even Jonathan is not the president, he said, does that remove him from Aso Rock?
So for national reconciliation, you seek a political solution for Israelis?
What of the judgment that was given by the appeal courts?
Okay.
That struck down.
You're talking about judicial precedent?
Yes, all the charges. What happened?
So what does this amount to? I want you to make very important.
My own is this. Kanu Nnamdi should be allowed to go home. Should be allowed to go home. Yes, it's a political agitation, and which he has a right to do. If it is not tenable, then let him go home. What of the invasion of his home by the Nigerian army? Was that not against the law? Was any officer punished for it? Was even an unknown soldier punished for it?
This is quite passionate, very, very emotional, most especially coming from a very.
But at the same time, we also are aware there was a video evidence that also showed how he was giving instructions for soldiers, police to be killed and all that, police stations to be burnt and all that. So let's not just look at
why are Boko Haram, Boko Haram who have killed, who have destroyed, and then they were not even tried.
That is why there's no balance.
They just said that they have repented, and they are even absorbed into the Nigerian.
When you realize that you're from a region where certain things is not balanced yet, and you're smart, you should apply the right methodology.
Thank you.
Not go the wrong way where you trap yourself.
Let's not rob Barrister Damisa and of course Chief Daniel time to react to this. Let's get to you, Damisa. React to this in 1 minute, please, over the life sentencing of Nnamdi Kanu. And what implications could this be? What could we do politically to solve this?
They will resolve it.
Okay. For me, I will not speak of the legal gymnastics that preceded the judgment of a few days ago of Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja Division. The crux of Kanu's agitation was that the law which it was used to charge him no longer exists.
Exactly.
But sadly, he failed to know that in every amendment of an enabling law, of an act, there are usually clauses that are called saving clause. And this was without exception.
Exactly.
That is the plain truth. And after opportunity was given to him, to defend himself, which he elected not to.
So how do we solve this? Are you saying that it should remain in that, or should there be a political solution?
No, certainly there's going to be a political solution, clearly. The right to self-determination. I mean, look at our international conventions, treaties, and all those things. You have a right to self-determine. For self-determination, it is a fundamental right. As a state.
Thank you. Chief Daniels, quickly, you have 1 minute. React to this.
Chief Daniels.
In our constitution, as well as the West stated, right of self-determination is an inalienable right. So for me, although my fine gentlemen say there's information, a video evidence where Kanu were instructing people to burn the police station down. Well, if you're from the East, I'm a purebred Asa man. I have no able blood in me, although my chieftaincy title, I chief, DKD Ahoma is from Abia State. I did not even live in the East, but I traveled around the East a lot. And I come to realize that it's the most militarized zone in Nigeria. Most of those military people are committing heinous crime against them.
Okay, quickly hit your point in 10 seconds.
The only solution is a political solution. President Tinubu must interject immediately and commute Kanu's sentence to the time served and give him a conditional bail. That's it.
Thank you
or
so
else
much,
President Tinubu will be the last president.
We will have much time
the East will explode.
To look into this critically. Big thanks, Chief Daniel, of course, Barrister Damisa Itote, and of course, Honorable Jose Gebo, and Professor Tony Jewari, and of course, Reverend Barrister Greg Iyayi. This is what you can take, and big thanks to you, Raf, Edos, and all those that joined us on Independent Television, Independent Radio. I am Philip Omo Gupon. We'll do this same time next week. Bye for now.
Certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So when they bullied her, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them or dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
It's not healthy.
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.
Certainly the best.
Thank you for joining us today on the program Healthy Living. I'm Adesu Walso again. A lot of us wonder why somebody will sleep and never wake up. Others will just wonder why a healthy person will slump and die immediately. So many of these questions are heavy in our hearts, but how do we go about it? Some would imply other things to it except for medical reasons. So today, we're going to be talking about sudden cardiac deaths. Sudden cardiac deaths, we'll look at the symptoms, if there are any, discusses, and probably we'll get some possible cautions to be taken or adhered to so that we don't fall victim to sudden cardiac death. And who are more susceptible to this problem? Is it the male or female, or is it an everybody thing? These are many more we'll be looking at on the program today on Healthy Living. And joining me to discuss this is Dr. Henry Onwalu, a Senior Registrar Cardiology Unit of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. A pleasure to have you join me today, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
Thank
Same
you.
here.
So, like I said, sudden cardiac deaths. What does it mean?
Well, good afternoon, viewers. Just as the name implies, sudden cardiac death. So that suggests an unexpected death that is sudden, usually within an hour of symptoms. And of course, in a patient or in someone with a known or unknown cardiac disease. I say known or unknown because most times people routinely will not go for checkup. So there's an underlying heart problems, but they never knew about it because they didn't get to visit a clinic where a doctor evaluated and said, we have an underlying heart problems. Just managing themselves, pushing through until the day there was an incident, and maybe on autopsy or on further investigation, we discovered that there was an underlying cardiac problem. So that's why we say it is sudden cardiac death.
This one that is sudden, are there symptoms?
Yeah, usually what we call a prodromal phase or signs and symptoms, where the person may feel, unusually weak or fatigue. Sometimes some of them it can come with chest pain, some chest discomfort or chest pain that cannot really be so clear. Just feel some chest discomfort. Some of them may have what we call palpitation. Okay. A sudden awareness of one's heart. Usually, the heart beats 247. You don't get to know that your heart is beating. I think you don't get to be aware of the beatings of the heart. But when one begins to feel or be aware of the heartbeats, that's what we refer to as palpitation.
Like what kind of feeling should that person have?
As the heart is pulsating, you hear, you are aware that my heart is beating too fast, or it's beating irregularly.
Sometimes there is this feeling of fear, and the heart will suddenly jump. Other times, it could just jump for no reason at all. According to laymen like us, for no reason at all. You say, why is my heart beating like this? There's nothing pushing you, or there's nothing that took you by surprise to have caused that kind of palpitation, but you just feel it. And other times you see people just said, hold on to their hearts, and then the next thing they slump and die. So
such is a pointer to why somebody should get evaluated properly. For instance, it's not normal. I usually would not feel that heart jumping. Usually would not feel that heart, beating too fast. And for no reason you are feeling it. Well, it's okay when somebody is anxious. That could be physiological. Or when somebody is, exerting himself, or maybe somebody that is running. When you run, the physiological response of the heart is you feel your heart beating faster. And for this one, for no reason, you're just going about your normal activity, which you would do before. And you can feel the heart, jumping, like you say, that's what we call palpitation. That suggests that all is not well. So that one should visit
But unfortunately, even at that, I've seen it happen and say, what I need is a bottle of soft drink. Let me not promote them now. A bottle of soft drink and some water, I'll be fine. I've seen it happen to somebody, and the person just took a bottle of soft drink and said, okay, I think I'm good, without thinking of going to the hospital. The hospital is usually the last place every person will want to visit. And that on its own is, I think that on its own is a pandemic already, because people don't go to hospital until it is quarter past. So now let us look at those with underlying ailment that should be aware of this problem.
Yeah, usually with people with, there are things we call risk factors. Risk factors means what are the conditions that predispose one to having a sudden cardiac death.
Okay.
And so we could categorize it as nutritional. You can even say genetic. When you say nutritional, things like excessive alcohol comes in here. Of course, excessive alcohol, some persons will have their hearts racing and jumping, And sometimes there are some drinks referred to as energy drinks. I don't want to mention some names now. You know, those drinks,
please don't mention. We just know the energy drinks, sport drinks.
They make you feel alert, energetic. Even sometimes you don't sleep. But if you look in, some persons could take as much as more than they should take, and they will be wondering, the way my heart is beating, it's not regular.
But nowadays, people live on it, especially young men. You see them carrying it in water cans and
some get
in
lucky.
all kind of bottles.
Some get
but that
lucky.
is what they live on.
Some get lucky. They know that, oh, it is each time I take this, I feel this symptom, and they stop. And you know, when you take away the trigger or the assault, it means that the injury is off, and then the person will be free. But someone may not know, just keep taking it and taking it. And before know what's happening, there's problem. That's why I said nutrition comes in the energy drink, the excessive alcohol. There, for some reasons, you know, when you talk about malnutrition, we have what we call micronutrient malnutrition, things like magnesium particularly. For some studies, you know, it's been observed that when the magnesium intake is low, it can predispose to a nutritional factor causing sudden cardiac death.
For the purpose of educating the public, can you please break down this magnesium intake?
Most times when we take our food, you know, we talk of balance. That's why we talk about fruits. Sometimes we say take supplements. If one goes for a routine screening and the magnesium level is low, there are some reasons we say, okay, let's do micronutrient screening. And if it's low, they will give you some supplements, and of course take some fruits. Most of the food we eat, all those things we put, some of them have some of these micronutrients in the amount that is sufficient for the body. But if for some reasons there's, you know, we're not having balanced diet and there's some malnutrition from micronutrients, then we'll put in supplements.
In this economy, we are talking about getting our tummy filled, not balanced diet now.
But most times, some of the things we need for the balanced diet are things that we could help ourselves with. As simple as having a garden, you know, once in a while putting fruits in your diet, those little things that we may just commonize. They really may not be so difficult to access. And we don't need so much from these micronutrients just to be well nourished. Then things like genetic factors. In genetic factors, a lot has to do with genetic factors because for some reasons it just runs in some family. You know, if in some family you have this history of people having sudden cardiac death, people just slump and they are no more, they slump, and particularly when it's multiple, that suggests that every member of that family should come for screening. So we can pick the problem earlier and then begin to see how we can manage the risk factors. It's not the person's fault, that in some families, for some reasons, we have what we call hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. The heart's just excessively thickened. It's not your fault, but being aware, you know, one anticipates.
And it's not a village people thing.
Not necessarily.
Because that is what we usually attribute it to.
Not necessarily. Medically speaking, it's a genetic factor. That's why I said nutritional factor. I've explained that. I've talked about genetic factor. Now we're talking about what some of them, we call them long QT syndrome. For some reasons, the electrical transmission in the heart, you know, because of some structural malfunction or abnormality of the genetic makeup. So the conduction is not smooth, it's longer, like you say, long QT syndrome. And that's predisposed to abnormal conduction. And that can cause a sudden cardiac arrest, and that's sudden cardiac death. And we have acquired, we have congenital. Of course, for the acquired, there are some drugs that can prolong the QT interval. So such drugs, in some conditions, are avoided. So there are some tests we do when the QT is prolonged. Some of those drugs are avoided because that can lead to sudden cardiac death in a patient that already have a background problem. You know, then there are a lot of others. So we talk about genetic. We talk about I've mentioned nutritional.
Yes, you have.
We have what we call arrhythmias. Arrhythmias still talks about the electrical conduction of the heart because the heart works by both the mechanical and the electrical. That's what keeps the heart working. So with the electrical components, if there's any problem in the transmission, what we call arrhythmia, it's like somebody, when you say somebody is having what we call convulsion epilepsy, sometimes in this transmission in the heart, there's some disruption or abnormal flow. So that abnormal flow is what we call arrhythmia. One of them is what we call premature, I'm sorry for using a lot of medical
No, go ahead. Well,
premature ventricular contraction. If an ECG is done, sometimes it can be occasional, not to worry. But for some time, if it is maybe having it occurring like 10 times in an hour, that's significant. And that can give an idea of this person is at risk of sudden cardiac death. So having that, evaluating that arrhythmia can help us know and categorize. So there are a lot of other risk factors, but for time, just
Okay, there's one I'm going to ask you after the short break. All right, the program is Healthy Living on independent television. We'll take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with questioning the doctor so that we can get answers to our problems. We'll take that short break now. All right, thank you everyone for staying tuned. We're still on Healthy Living, and I'm talking with Dr. Onwualu. All right, doctor, what is the relationship between obesity and sudden cardiac death?
Yeah, you know, the list, I need to exhaust all the list for risk factors causing sudden cardiac death. Well, we have modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors. One of such is things like genetic factor. You don't determine your genetic components. You're giving birth to that way. Things like your age.
But we can manage it.
Well, identifying it helps us
to manage
and try and see how we can avoid things that can trigger it. But we have no control. Things like increasing age is a risk factor for sudden cardiac death.
Okay.
So we have no control. We age per second. But the second that goes by, I'm getting older, I'm not getting any younger. So you have no control over that. But things like weight, what is obesity? The body mass index is one of the criteria we use to define obesity, either abdominal girth or body mass index. Either way you see it, those are things we use to objectively assess obesity. So if we go by BMI, obesity means that the weight for height is more than, most times we say 25 and above to 29.9, according to WHO, we say it's overweight. Then anything 30 and above, we say it's obesity. So this poses a risk for coronary heart disease, cardiovascular disease, and of which, once there's a cardiovascular disease, that means that there's a background underlying heart problem, and that's a risk factor for sudden cardiac death. So that's the relationship between obesity and sudden cardiac death. So for obesity also, you know, one of the things that it's modifiable. We have we have the opportunity to shed off some weight. To
work on it.
And that's why I classify it as it's classified as a modifiable risk factor, unlike the increasing age, genetic components, and the others that are not modifiable. So this one is modifiable.
Okay, instances where people sleep and don't wake up again. Could it be cardiac arrest or cardiac sudden death?
Now, well, cardiac arrest could lead to sudden cardiac death. Don't forget, when they say cardiac arrest, it means that the heart stops. And for the period the heart stops, there may be some injury. Whether I like it or not, when there's an abrupt cut-off of the oxygen and blood supply, because even the heart itself requires blood supply and oxygen. You know, the particular area or segment supplied suffers some injury. So there's some micro scar, depending on the level of damage that has occurred there. And when that occurs, that's to say that that place will malfunction. And so that's why I say there's a link between the cardiac arrest leading to sudden cardiac death. But however, the defining factor there is that there's a background cardiac disease before you can talk about the sudden cardiac death.
So when people sleep and don't wake up, is a problem too?
When people sleep and don't wake up, if there's a background heart problem, sleeping and don't wake up could mean that the sudden cardiac death occurred while asleep. And things like heart attack, if an heart attack occurs during sleep, and depending on the severity, what we call myocardial infarction, what we refer to as heart attack in the layman's word, is that there is some occlusion of the blood supply to a particular region of the heart. So the degree of the occlusion defines the severity of the ischemia. So if it is an acute myocardial infarction, that means the occlusion is at least 70%, 80%, 90%, almost completely blocked. And when that happens, it shows that that part of the heart is compromised, and there may not be recovery.
Okay, does this also happen in children?
Yeah, it is rare, but when it does happen in children, then most likely it is a genetic component that is contributing. All those genetic abnormalities like the long QT syndrome, the Brugada syndrome, when those ones are occurring, most times below 35 years. Then, otherwise, it's like I said, increasing age is one of the strong risk factors. As we grow older, the vessels are sclerosed, you know, the heart is old. And for most times, people that already have a background heart problem, for instance, heart failure. Somebody that has heart failure suggests that the person is also at risk of having a sudden cardiac death, particularly when the ejection fraction, because when we do a scan of the heart, what we call echocardiography.
Okay.
We are able to assess for the systolic function by the ejection fraction. If it is less than 30, that is an indicator of a high risk for sudden cardiac death.
You know, all of this will be difficult for layman to understand,
Yes.
except you go to the hospital. And it's not something you can diagnose yourself.
No, you have to be evaluated. That's why, for instance, somebody maybe somebody close to you now may be walking or being around you at work, but you observe that this person is always easily getting tired.
Okay.
But the person is managing. Such person shouldn't manage. You should just visit and say, I observed that recently I'm not as strong as I used to be. I easily get fatigued. Maybe the person is overweight. That's another reason to say, oh, I'm overweight, I'm easily getting fatigued. Let me just walk in for a check. This is not how I used to feel. And you may be surprised, you go in for that check and they say, oh, the ejection fraction of the heart is low. And of course, there are some drugs we can give to improve the function of the heart, shed off some weight. There's some injection we can give to shed off some weight. There's some things we can do to improve the overall function. And then that risk factor is controlled. And that delays the, the consequences that would have happened if the person had not come for that checkup. So the message here is, when we don't feel well enough, when we feel unwell, when the body gives signals, because most time the body will give signals,
yes,
and we recognize those signals, we are advised to walk into the general practice and have a general check.
Being on this program is like doing advocacy too. But unfortunately, you are Nigerian, I'm Nigerian. You work in a hospital. You know that most cases come from the emergency units. Until somebody is almost gone, we find it difficult to go to hospital. And the problem of this world is so much that anything can happen to anybody at any time. Somebody can just fall suddenly in the market and the person is gone. And people don't come to help. The next, everybody's bringing our phone to come and let's see what's happening. You're videoing the person instead of calling for help. And then ambulance services is another thing. The 911, the emergency number thing is another crazy thing in this part of the world. We don't really have it.
I know we used to have some emergency ambulances I see at work. I don't know if they're still functional.
I think those ones are still there.
Fine. So thanks to
but it should be everywhere.
Our environment, we have that. However, well, it is what we are faced with. And that now will be a pointer to self-help. What you can do to prevent it, do. One of the risk factors I didn't mention was psychosocial.
Okay.
Psychosocial risk factor is something that we may be able to control. Things like things that can necessarily make you depressed, you avoid them, because depression is a risk factor for sudden cardiac death.
Okay.
Things like maybe, for instance, well, your socio-economic status, really, you don't have any control over that. But just try and work harder to improve, because most times some of these things happen more in the low socio-economic status. Yes, maybe because, I don't know, the people high up there are able to afford medical, they can able to access healthcare easily because they are more empowered. So maybe that's why it occurs more in the low socio-economic status than the higher socio-economic
Even for some of those who can afford it, hospital is the last place they want to go to. Rather, we'll go to church. We'll go and faith it out.
Well, yeah.
So relationship between faith and medicine.
It has to be, there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. Why there has to be a balance? If you want to faith it out, you should even know what is wrong before you faith it out. And if you know what is wrong, you're faithing it out, you know what you're faithing. So you can't know what is wrong if you're not evaluated. So I will still explain further that maybe ignorance may be the problem. What are you faithing when you don't even know what is wrong?
What is wrong?
And so I don't think there should be any clash. It's just ignorance, maybe. Because if you feel unwell, you need to be told why you are feeling unwell. So you are not working, get evaluated and say, okay, this is what
I don't think ignorance is an excuse, because a lot of us are very good churchgoers. I believe in miracles, I do. So don't get me wrong, please. I believe in miracles, but you have to know, like you said, you have to know what is wrong with you before you can ask for a miracle and what is wrong with you. All right, Doctor, before we leave, Nan, can you just please tell every one of us, particularly those of us who don't like hospitals, I don't like hospitals, but I try my best possible to do all that I can. Tell us what to do. How should we look at our hearts before we start running to the hospital? Tell us how the heart should function, what we should look out for, and how to generally take care of ourselves so that we don't become victim of our own mistakes. In the next 30 seconds, can you do that for us?
Yeah, I can do that. Well, the summary of all we've just said is be aware of your health, know your numbers, know your body.
Okay.
You feel any slight change you cannot explain. You don't have to like the hospitals. Most times you don't have to have emergency per se before you walk in. We have what we call the wellness clinic. You just walk in, I just keep my routine. I make it a habit once in a year to go for general check.
Like a birthday gift to yourself.
Yes, and know your numbers. What are the numbers you should know? Know your BMI.
Okay.
Know your blood pressure.
Okay.
Know your fasting blood glucose.
Okay.
Know your cholesterol, at least this basic 4. Your BMI will help you know how you should discipline yourself to trim your weight down and your diet. Your blood pressure will help you know if you need an intervention to work on your BP or not.
Okay.
Your fasting blood sugar will help you know if you need to control that sugar. And of course, your cholesterol will help you know if you need to control your cholesterol.
Okay.
And if you can do this on your routine check at least once in a year, then at least you've done the minimum you should do.
All right, doctor. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. Today we cannot take calls. We hardly take calls on TV, but we can take calls on radio, and we do that on Thursday. So let me get this promise from you that we'll do this on Thursday on radio. Yes, doctor, yes. Thank you so much for saying yes. All right, people, this is what we're going to do today. Know your cholesterol level, know your BMI, know your sugar level, know your heart rate level, know everything that you need to know about yourself. And I will let you know that it does not cost much. There's a wellness clinic at UBTH. It's a government hospital. I'm not promoting that hospital. I've used it, and I think you can use it too. Hopefully the strike will be over soon, and people will go about their normal activities again in the hospital. So thank you, Dr. Nwalu, for finding time to be with us. So we'll see you again on Thursday, and that will be on radio. Until then, please take care of yourself. Don't drink too much. There are some sport drinks you should not even go close to, okay? All of this will damage your life if you are not careful. Bye-bye.
Certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
the man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said.
So
So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up and dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news on the hour. My name is Evan Sunokogi. The Senate has passed through a second reading the National Emergency Toll Service NETS Bill, Establishment Bill 2025. The bill, sponsored by Senator Abdulaziz Musa Yaradua, Katsina Central, seeks to create a uniform, accessible, and a rapid emergency response system through a dedicated 3-digit toll-free number available nationwide. The proposed legislation, which received overwhelming backing, also empowers the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, to serve as the regulatory authority for the service, with the aim of strengthening coordination and emergency response across the country. Amid renewed national security challenges, the upper chamber has announced a major shakeup of several standing committees, fulfilling its earlier pledge to reconstitute the Committee on National Security and Intelligence. The announcement was made during plenary by the Senate Selection Committee, chaired by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. Under the new arrangement, Senator Yahya Abdullahi of Kebbi State is now the named chairman of the Senate Committee on National Security and Intelligence. He previously headed the Committee on National Planning. The Parliament also reconstructed the Committee on Livestock and Animal Husbandry, appointing Senator Shehu Buba of Bauchi State as its new chairman. Senator Buba was last week removed as chairman of the Committee on National Security and Intelligence. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has told the Special Offences Court in Lagos that the former Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele's co-defendant Harry Omoile voluntarily made his statements in the $4.5 billion fraud trial of the duo. While Emefiele is standing trial on a 19-count charge bordering on gratification and corrupt practices, Omoile faces a 3-count charge relating to unlawful acceptance of gifts. Both defendants pleaded not guilty. In a trial within trial to determine the voluntariness of the statement made by Omoile, an EFCC operative, Avan Guroman, who took the witness box, said no officer of the commission coerced the defendants into making any statement. At the last sitting of the court on October 9, 2025, Prosecuting counsel Rotimi Oyedepo SAN sought to tender Omoyele's extrajudicial statement in evidence, but defense counsel or Adeyinka Kotoye SAN objected, insisting the statements were not voluntarily made. Justice Rehman Oshodi subsequently ordered a trial within trial. Under cross-examination by the first counsel, senior advocates of Nigeria Olalekan Ojo and Kotoye Goroman admitted that despite it being part of the EFCC standard practice, no video recording of the statement taken was made, and the signature of the lawyer was also not included in the statement. Justice Oshodi has adjourned a further hearing in the trial within trial to Thursday, January 15th, and Friday, January 16th, 2026. Moving on now, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has said approving compliance with decommissioning and abandonment regulation across Nigeria's petroleum industry is necessary to ensure compliance with the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, environmental protection, and to protect the welfare of host communities. AS Organic Victor reports the Speaker stated this at the inauguration of the ad hoc committee to investigate the decommissioning and the abandonment regulations across the petroleum industry.
While expressing the demands and responsibilities of the ad hoc committee, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, says the probe had become necessary to ensure strict adherence to the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, especially on environmental protection, host community welfare, and life cycle management of oil and gas assets.
The work before this committee has wide-range implications for the well-being of host communities, our environment, and the credibility of our regulatory institutions. The committee is mandated to examine the level of compliance by industry operators with the law and to review the decommissioning and abandonment plans already submitted by the companies.
At the inauguration, Chairman of the committee, Honorable Basi Ekiba Epeyong, issued summons to the Managing Director of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority for failure to provide a essential document requested by the committee.
In carrying out this work, we shall engage with AUPRC and MDPRA as primary regulator. We shall also engage with operators and licensees across all basins, host communities, environmental and safety experts.
Not well equipped to ask questions on whatever presentation you will be making, because we did not prepare well as a result of non-availability of those informations to us. So instead of waste time today listening to him, we'll adjourn and go back.
Decommissioned oil and gas facilities pose serious risks, including environmental degradation, economic loss, community conflict, and safety hazards. From the House of Representatives, Organic Victor, ITV News.
No fewer than 19 persons, including 5 students of Rivers State University, were kidnapped by gunmen in Rivers and Imo State yesterday. This came a day the House of Representatives asked the federal government to fish out the killers of the 5 policemen in Bauchi community last week. In the Rivers State attack, gunmen suspected to be members of a cult group in early hours of yesterday abducted at least 5 students of the Rivers State University, ROSU, a Mowa satellite campus. The victims were reportedly taken at a gunpoint from their off-campus residence in Emoha local government area of the state. It was gathered that the student living outside the campus had last week protested persistent attacks and harassment by cultists and appealed to the Rivers State University management to relocate them to the main campus in Port Harcourt safety. A student who narrowly escaped the abduction but pleaded anonymity said the gunmen invaded their residence around 2 a.m. and shot dead the security dog before proceeding to seize the victims. Spokesperson of the Rivers State Police Command, SP Grace Irenga Koko, who confirmed the abduction, describing the perpetrators as cultists, while disclosing that the police had launched a manhunt for the abductors. The police scribe said efforts have been put in place for their safe rescue. And on business news now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has revised its cash withdrawal rules effective from January 2026. The newly revised rules end a previous special authorization permitting individuals to withdraw 5 million naira and corporates 10 million naira once monthly. The Apex Bank explained that previous cash policies had been introduced over the years in response to evolving circumstances. However, with time, the need has arisen to streamline these provisions to reflect present-day realities. In a circular released on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025, and signed by the Director of the Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Dr. Rita I. Sike, the policy is designed to reduce the cost of cash management, strengthen security, and curb money laundering risk associated with the economy's heavy reliance on fiscal currency. Effective from January 1st, 2026, individuals will be allowed to withdraw up to 500,000 naira weekly across all channels, while corporate entities will be limited to 5 million naira. Withdrawals above this threshold will attract excess withdrawal fees of 3% for individuals and 5% for corporate entities, with the charges shared between the CBN and the financial institutions. The CBN also confirmed that all currency denominations may now be loaded in ATMs, while the over-the-counter encashment limit for third-party checks remains at 100,000 naira. Such individuals will also form part of the weekly withdrawal limits. And now talking sports, Samuel Chikwueze brace and Alex Iwobi strike was not enough as Fulham fell 5-4 defeat to Manchester City in a Premier League fixture at Craven Cottage on Tuesday. City raised to a 3-0 lead thanks to goal from Erling Haaland, Tijani Regenders and Phil Foden. Haaland's goal was his 100th in the Premier League, and it only took him 111 games to achieve the feat and set a new record, which was previously held by Alan Shearer, who reached 100 goals in 124 games. Emmy Smith Rowe pulled a goal back for Fulham in the second minute of first half stoppage time. But 3 minutes into the second half, Foden got his second goal to make it 4-1 before an own goal by Sander Berge in the 54th minute gave City a 5-1 lead. Iwobi got on the score sheet 3 minutes after City's fifth goal to bring the scoreline to 5-2 before Chikwueze, who came on in the 46th minute, got his side's third and fourth goals on 73 and 78 minutes. The win means the second place City, who are on 28 points, have caught Arsenal's lead to just 2 points on their part. Fulham occupy 15th place on 17 points on the log. In other games, Christian Romero's superb 95th minute overhead kick secured a dramatic point for Tottenham Hotspur against Newcastle United, while Jack Grealish hit a late winner for Everton at the Vitality Stadium to sentence Bournemouth to a fourth defeat in 5 games. And with a story now with the news at 12, thanking you for listening. By 3 o'clock, the world news will come your way. My name is Evan Sunohugi. Good afternoon.
ITV, certainly the best.
This is ITV,
certainly the best.
Hello there, thank you for joining us on this special interview series on independent television. And I'm Sonny Duke Okosun. Our guest today on the program is the Ambassador of the European Union to Nigeria and ECOWAS. As a matter of fact, the Ambassador of the European Delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, His Excellency Ambassador Gauthier Mignon. Thank you for obliging us your time.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation, sir.
Okay, how would you describe your presence in Benin so far? Is this your first time in Benin City?
Actually, it's my second time, but I came in a private visit the first time because I hadn't presented my credentials yet to Mr. President, so I could not engage officially by the time. So this time it's the first official visit. And I came really with an intention to see how, to review the cooperation we are having with Edo State and to try to see how we can scale it up. But I took the opportunity to visit yesterday to participate to a private preview of the Museum of West African Arts here in Edo State, which is a project that I already saw last year when I came first to Benin City.
Also, so how would you describe the level of partnership between the European Union and, of course, Nigeria, and particularly Edo State?
Well, with Nigeria, the European Union, together with its member states and its development banks, what we call Team Europe, I think the first partner, is Nigeria's first partner in many areas, in trade and investment in particular, and also in cooperation in many areas. And we have 730 million euros in grants for bilateral cooperation with Nigeria between 2041 and 2027, plus also sizable amounts of loans, subsidized loans. And with Edo State, we've had good cooperation in several areas. I'm thinking in particular of support to migration governance and support to stranded migrants returning to Nigeria, and many of them are from Edo State. And in the last few years, we supported more than 23,000 people to come back and reintegrate into their communities nationally, and many of them in Edo State, just to name an example. So voilà, we think we can do more in other areas. We're also working in digital economy, in renewable energy, and also in projects for communities. But I always come with states so important like Edo State with an idea of how to try to improve and strengthen what we are doing already.
All right. What is the policy thrust of the European Union in terms of opportunities for young people as it relates to education?
Well, for us, education is key, and young people are a cross-cutting priority in a country like Nigeria. So in all our projects, we integrate a dimension for young people and also for women. And in particular, as far as young people are concerned, we are funding a big national project called Nigeria Jubilee Fellowship Program. It's about helping young graduates to integrate into labor markets by funding a 12-month scholarship for having internships in medium and small size enterprises or public service to get a first professional experience. And this is something that we are now scaling up with the federal government. And we are also offering possibilities of studies in Europe, particularly through the Erasmus program. We have more than 100 Nigerians going every year to Europe to study a master in the framework of the Erasmus program.
All right. What is the policy thrust of the European Union in terms of opportunities for young people as it relates to education?
Well, for us, education is key, and young people are a cross-cutting priority in a country like Nigeria. So in all our projects, we integrate a dimension for young people and also for women. And in particular, as far as young people are concerned, we are funding a big national project called Nigeria Jubilee Fellowship Program. It's about helping young graduates to integrate into labor markets by funding a 12-month scholarship for having internships in medium and small size enterprises or public service to get a first professional experience, and this is something that we are now scaling up with the federal government. And we are also offering possibilities of studies in Europe, in particular through the Erasmus program. We have more than 100 Nigerians going every year to Europe to study a master in the framework of the Erasmus program in particular.
Fantastic. If you just join us, we have with us the ambassador of the European Commission delegation to Nigeria and Africa, who is in Edo State currently on a private visit, engaging him on a wide range of issues, looking at the partnership between the Commission and Nigeria, and particularly Edo State. Ambassador Migno, let me quickly take you on a trending issue in Nigeria right now, which has to do with violence, extremism, and the talk around genocide against Christians is gaining momentum across the world, particularly in the US and several other places. What's the Commission's perspectives on this issue, and what is the intention in terms of helping Nigeria to deal with banditry, Boko Haram, and all other, extremism that we're seeing playing up in the country right now?
I think it's important not to exaggerate or oversimplify situations which are very complex in Nigeria in terms of violence and insecurity. Of course, it's a big concern for everybody, including for us. We are very much committed with freedom of religion and belief in particular, and of course, any attack against communities or individuals because of their religion must be condemned, unacceptable. But at the same time, we stand in solidarity with Nigeria, with the victims of the attacks, of course, and with the overwhelming majority of Nigerians who are willing to coexist peacefully beyond ethnic or religious differences. And so we stand in solidarity with Nigeria to fight the many drivers of violence and insecurity, and religion is only one of them. And we've been supporting Nigeria for many years through many projects of peace building, of de-radicalization, demobilization of former members of non-state armed groups, for instance. And we are ready to do more. The European Union some 12 years ago received the Nobel Prize for Peace. And so we always feel the necessity to be up to this great distinction that we received, to work on peace building, to work also and strengthen our relationship on security and defense with Nigeria, but in a spirit of partnership and of respect for Nigeria's sovereignty.
Fantastic. You're here specifically because of the Museum of West African Arts, MOA, which of course was launched just a few days ago. But what's your take on the current issues surrounding the Museum of West African Arts, particularly against the background of some of the things that happened there, during the inauguration of the center? You were there.
I was there. It was not an inauguration of the museum, actually. Okay. It was just a private preview. Okay. Because the organizer, I think, very wisely decided, as there were some criticisms, to postpone the formal inauguration of the museum. They announced this already a few days ago. And so yesterday was just a private preview for partners, friends, diplomats like myself and other European ambassadors. The EU has no direct involvement in this project. We are not funding this project. we might do it in the future because we want to partner more with museums and cultural institutions in West Africa and Nigeria, but we have no direct involvement so far. So I came here really to see the advancement of this very wonderful project I discovered last year when I came first, which is a great opportunity for Edo State, for Nigeria, and for West Africa. It's a West African museum. It's not about only Benin or Edo State or Nigeria even, it's West African. And I must say that the experience that we had yesterday was quite unpleasant and deplorable because this private event on a private property was disrupted by so-called protesters who came in, allowed by the police, because there was security all around, but they left them in. And they disrupted the whole event. So it's exactly how you scale off. You scale off investors and development partners coming in good faith, to partner with your community. And Germany, for instance, has invested 8.5 million euros in this project. If now they see that this project cannot operate normally, I mean, the conclusions will be quite clear, not only for Germany, but for all European stakeholders.
Fantastic. Let's look at a general issue that relates to the involvement of the Western world in Africa in terms of development, in terms of partnership, in terms of insecurity. Talking about partnership, we're seeing, the European Union, for example, always disposed to giving loans to African countries, Nigeria inclusive. The perspective of these loans being a trap for developing countries, underdeveloped countries. What are your thoughts? What's the Commission perspectives on this?
Well, this is a trap where we felt collectively, the lenders and our African partners 30 years ago, and we had at the time to pardon part of this debt, to do a whole work to get out of this situation. So now, through, in particular, our new cooperation strategy, which is called the Global Gateway Strategy, we are very attentive not to fall again into this trap. So we limit the level of indebtedness of partner countries. We give subsidized loans. We don't want to fall again into this trap. And what we are seeing with concern is that African countries, some of them, are falling again into this situation with other lenders, not the European Union, because we've learned from our first experience. So this is why now we work very much with financial instruments, blending loans with grants, for instance, subsidized loans which create revenues for the country, so making sure that they can be reimbursed. So it's really a point we are very attentive to.
On a global scale, we've seen the disappearance of peace, so to speak, at the global level. I mean, the Hamas-Israeli crisis there's a ceasefire, there's some sort of agreement, but we're still seeing some measure of violence. We saw recently the RSF activities in Sudan, particularly in Al-Fasher. That crisis is still going on. And these activities or events that are unfolding globally that undermines peace globally, what's your perspective of the fact that it's like the world is hamstrung in terms of dealing with these issues, nipping them at the bud before it blossoms, it flourishes, snowballs into huge crisis like you're seeing now in Sudan? Hunger is there in Hamas. There's starvation, there's poverty, and all of these issues happening. Why is it so difficult for the world leaders to have a consensus in terms of how they can collectively respond to these issues?
Because we have collective rules in the United Nations Charter, international law. And what we have seen over the last 10 years or so is that very important players have not respected these rules. Take the case of Russia in particular.
Yeah, Russia and Ukraine.
The Russian invasion to Ukraine, which started in fact in 2014, then it became full scale in 2022. Then we, each from a permanent member of the Security Council, a country which is supposed to be a guarantor of these rules, then it shows that everybody can do anything and violates international law without punishment. And so this is why it's so important, and that is why the European Union insisted so much that all countries in the world had to condemn the Russian invasion to Ukraine. And most countries, including Nigeria, have done that. But others, including large democracies, have not done so.
When you say large democracy, are you talking about the US?
The US has done so, but others have not. Okay. And then, other crises also popped up. And then when the law starts to be broken here and there, it just becomes contagious.
Ambassador Gotna Migno, thank you so much for your time. Truly
Thanks
appreciate this conversation.
Pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I've been talking with Ambassador Mignot, who is the head of the European delegation to Nigeria and Africa, is currently in Edo State on a visit, and we've been engaging him on a wide range of issues. Thank you for staying with us, and have a beautiful day ahead. Bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Jola are people located primarily in Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, and Gambia in West Africa. They are concentrated in the Casamance region or Foni area of Gambia. These people are ethnic group with a rich cultural heritage rooted in wet rice agriculture, a classless social structure, and traditional animist beliefs, often blended with Islam and Christianity. The people hold tenaciously to their cultural heritage, especially their dance culture, which is popularly known as Jola dance, that have carved a cultural image for the people over time. The dance steps of Jola dancers is lovely and interesting, capable of bringing peace to the community as it encourages laughter and creates fun among the people. The Jola people are known for their unique dance, where dancers adorned themselves with African costumes and dance in circles. The dance is accompanied by drummers, singers, and the sound of metal bells singers. However, the dances serves important social and spiritual functions, including protecting villagers from evil, coordinating communal work, and guiding young men during circumcision rituals. Jola dance is widely considered interesting and often described as a vibrant, high energy, and captivating cultural experience. It is not for entertainment only, but deeply rooted in Jola cultural heritage and community life. The Jola dance is powerful and enriching experience, appreciated for its deep cultural roots and lively communal nature. The dance has survived many centuries.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said. So
that's...
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them over, dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Urumu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Hello viewers, welcome to Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji. So today on Viewpoint, let's talk about the insecurity that has been affecting Nigeria as a country and how it affects our economy, our agricultural sector, and most importantly, our means of livelihood.
Security is the most important element if you are talking about whether state development or national development. No investment can thrive when there is no guaranteed security. And I don't think any economy can grow. I don't think any country can do well if the security architecture of that country is not such that it's able to arrest things that will make investors scared to put their investments in that very environment. And then on the issue of Donald Trump, some people say it's threatening Nigeria, but I don't think it's threatening Nigeria. The issues raised that led to Donald Trump and the Secretary of War of the United States wanting to come to Nigeria, those issues, are they real? Those are the questions to ask. The killings, are they real? Is there massacre of people, whether Christians or non-Christians? I don't believe that people that are doing it, that they are Muslims, because I do know that Islam does not encourage killings. So for them to think that they are on some mission for God in quotes, and nobody has been able to stop them. We have a country where the security agencies have not been able to curb these things for so many years. 8 years of Buhari is gone. We are post 2 years now in talking about arbitration. That's 10 years. And in a country like Nigeria, you still see where they will show you on video where people are being killed and buried. The question when some people talk, the question I always ask them is, Is it because those that are affected are not directly related to it? So I think that the American government, coming out to say that if Nigeria cannot solve it, they want to come and solve it. I think it's a wake-up call on one, the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who is the chief security officer of Nigeria, to either do the needful and let every Nigerian feel protected within our country.
As of today, obviously insecurity has become a thing of concern for every Nigerian. And primarily from our own research, I personally have realized that the insecurity is given birth to by Nigerians themselves, in line with the high rate of corruption in the system. Insecurity can only reduce when the corruption level is reduced. The primary cause of insecurity in our society is lack of consequences to crime. So if there are consequences, as we all know, the Nigerians are very good in abiding to laws when there is consequences to the crime they commit. So the Nigerians are very good in taking advantage of loopholes when there is no consequences to their crime. If you pay attention to Nigerians that are in diaspora today, you realize that 80% of them are very law-abiding over there. The primary reason for that is because in the Western world, the consequences to crime is not negotiable. So, but coming back home today, we all have seen it, taking a negative tone on our society, and we all are, affected by it in one way or the other. Talking about foreign intervention to Nigeria, we all, I wouldn't say we all know, but for me, it is obviously clear that this was expected at a point. It's in two ways. One way is because of the applications of the current federal government, the steps they are taking to boycott American. The country we are living in right now is a one-party system. And obviously, it's not healthy for the country. We see governors, everybody moving to APC today. So Nigeria is in the state of in the state of surgery. So we need a surgery at this point, because a society that does not have a competitor is as good as doomed.
What I'm about to say right now is concerning the herdsmen that come to our community here. Those are real cow. They normally come with their cow to eat people cross here in my community here. They used to come with their cow. Instead of them to move along the road so that their cow will not eat grass from the road, they will take those cows to the people's farm in community. They will be eating their cross. Some will have cassava, some will have yam. Those cows will not destroy those cross in their farm. Many occasions, those people, they will come to me, started explaining what is going on in their farm concerning the herdsmen with their cow. We don't want such a thing from the community. The way they are damaging people crossing here in community is very bad. Also, in our secondary school in Umtekon here is very bad. There is no window in those schools, no door. There are some iron shed that those children are using to sit in the school. Some boys, we don't know them, they will go there, destroy those shed, pack those iron and bend it, fold it and take it to somewhere they will go and sell those iron. It's the iron that they are taking from the shed. They will remove the wool that the children was supposed to write in school. They will remove those one away from the shed. They will fold the iron, take it away to go and sell it to wherever they want to sell it. We doesn't want such a thing in community. We are still pleading, we are begging so that they can also support us. It's supposed the school is well available for us. The school he was built, those window he have been fixed, those doors have been fixed. By the time those door or window are being locked, I believe that they can never go there and be stealing those iron share in school.
First and foremost, let me start with how it affects our livelihood. You will discover that when farmers can no longer access their farms, they can no longer cultivate crops, you find out that there is food shortage and there is food insecurity. People will be hungry, and the few crops or agricultural products, the price will skyrocket, which will result in inflation. And if the prices of foodstuff increase, every other thing will increase to catch up with the prices of foodstuff. You'll find out that when there is insecurity, people can no longer travel. You find out that you see situations where buses are stopped and everybody is kidnapped. How will people do interstate and intercity economic matters or businesses? You find out that everyone is holed up in his own state or in his own city without being able to do cross-country businesses. And again, you find out that foreign investments run away from countries or places where there's insecurity. When there's insecurity or fear of the unknown, money flies away. People start taking out their finances, their investments, and running away from that country. That is the problem Nigeria is facing, and it is not good for our economic development. And if need be, what stops us from asking for help? If your house is on fire and only you cannot quench the fire, will you not call in neighbors to help? I have spoken against his rhetoric before, but we should look beyond how he speaks. We all know Donald Trump, he will always be Trump. But we must look beyond that and see how we can be helped. Now, Donald Trump seems to have the list of people who are behind this mess that we are in. And so everyone is jittery. But Nigeria needs help. And if help is coming, we should accept it so that these bandits, these headsmen can be driven away. We must not play politics with our security. If we need help, we should accept help.
Insecurity in Nigeria rages between banditry, insurgency, kidnapping, and of course, these ethnic clashes. We cannot rule that one out. Also, the farmer headers herdsmen clashes, we can also rule it out. And the fact remains that these have been so predominant in the north and southeast of Nigeria. And I think of recent, we started experiencing kidnapping in the south. Before now, at the advent of the democratic system in this era, there was this militants in the south. But I think at the moment, what we are experiencing now, one can only say that there is other hidden agenda which is not visible to the understanding of the natural man, because we discovered that in the north, a lot of religious crisis, so to say, because we see the Christians are being killed almost on a daily basis, churches are burnt, and of recent, the United States of America alerted us that there is, of course, genocide, the massacre of the Christians in Nigeria, of which we are not ignorant of that fact, because it has been always on the news. In Benue, in Plateau, of course, Nasarawa, Borno, Adamawa, where the Christian Association of Nigeria chairman of that state was also killed. I think as it stands, the effect is so devastating. For example, you are going to discover that especially in the northern region, There's going to be restriction of movements, transportation. Of course, also in the south, because you cannot move so freely because fear of being kidnapped is there, and this herdsmen issue, because like in our community of recent, we saw some of these people also creating some problem, resulting in killings, and of course, those things are likely to have adverse effects on our economy and of course in the movement of citizens.
Insecurity is affecting our culture, is affecting food production, short of food, short of yams. At the same time, years back, we see yams everywhere, plantains everywhere, and all that. So, if I may say, but Nigeria is a nation, country, and we also have stake. But since our government are proving the otherwise, what do you expect us to do? Everywhere insecurity. Benin City, where we are, there's still insecurity, Fulani X-Men everywhere, Nitiala and all those terrorist group and all that. Not until they browned these bandits as terrorists, I think they won't do anything about it. To a large extent, they're being funded by powers on high. At this point, Nigerians are helpless, and that's the gospel truth. We're helpless. The nation is on the standstill, nothing is working. Nothing at all is working. And so, if now our president is beginning to wake up and ask for assembly, it's the right call towards the right direction. They should wake up and do something. Because for too long, I think some persons are making profit out of this banditry and whatever is going on, this so-called Boko Haram and all that. How can you have in a nation, in a country that we are Nigeria, our nation, we have no other country, whether we travel to America, wherever, we're still Nigerians. Just imagine, in this same nation, we have Sharia law. Does it make any sense? And we say we want Nigeria. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if we are Nigerians anymore. I don't know the right word to say. And I think the Northerners, it's high time they wake up to know we are Nigerians. We are one Nigeria, one nation. Nigeria is not for me alone, it's not for the North, it's not for the Igbos, it's not for the Yoruba, it's not for the Edos, it's not for the Shekiri or Jaws or whatever. It's for everybody. And when we wake up to that responsibility, I think and I believe Nigeria will go forward.
The security of life and property and the welfare of the citizenry is the primary obligation, the duty of the government as enshrined in our Constitution, particularly under Chapter 2, precisely Section 14, Subsection 2B, where it says that the government primary responsibility shall be to provide welfare of the citizens and security of lives and property. And that, be that as it may, it seems that our security issue has lingered for such a long time, that it began to give some inferences, that people are beginning to infer that there's more to it. There are people who are cashing out on this, our insecurity, which shows that it's being politicized. There's more to it. Because in my own honest view, I think that whatever challenge we have in this insecurity can squarely be handled and tackled by the government, except that they are having some cold feet, probably because of some of their interests or inordinate benefits they are getting from it. Otherwise, if they are set to tackle insecurity, who are these insurgents that you cannot suppress? But because there are political motives, there are selfish, objectives, there are people who are making it here and there. I mean, insecurity or kidnapping and banditry have come in the realms of billions now. They now ask people for ransom in billions, in hundreds of millions. So it has become very profitable to indulge in. So people have been encouraged to get into it because government has provided a veritable ground for it to fester. So now, I think that since Nigeria is a sovereign nation, foreign intervention cannot happen. America cannot invade Nigeria without, incurring the wrath of the international community. But as a sovereign nation, your internal affairs are to be managed and handled by you and not to another nation. But America being the number one world police of all the nations, you don't expect them to fold their hands and watch the gory scenes that are flowing out from from Nigeria every day, where people are being beheaded recklessly and ruthlessly, where people's lives have been turned upside down, people have been named and brutalized, people have been chased away from their ancestral homes, and nothing is being done, despite the amount of budget, huge, humongous money they've been budgeted for fighting insecurity. It ends up in private courts. And the kind of, when you fight a war that those who are fighting it are part of it, it becomes difficult to win. But most of the people fighting insurgency and insecurity are part of the problem. So that's why it becomes a problem. So I don't think that it is impossible for America to invade Nigeria. It has happened in the past.
Now we blame the federal government and the state government, not only Edo State. It's no more news. We are aware how the bandit came into Nigeria. I would not want to dwell on it too much. It affects the community, even the rural area. Farmers that are even farming on their own inside my farm. I have almost 50 laborers. Do you know, if I didn't employ security people, that village would not have been going to farm at all. And yet, we are not feeling the impact of either the state government or the federal government. This place is a bit fair. What of Benue and Plateau? The government should wake up.
For a very long time now, the issue of insecurity, has been quite alarming. Yes, as a nation that is suffering insecurity, the economy of such a country is going to be stagnated. As a country is also seeking to grow our economy, it is also very important that investors from around the world are attracted to invest into the economy. And then let's also look at our citizens. If there's unrest regarding, if the liberty of the people is being threatened, there's no how people can go about their daily endeavors. Right now, there's also the present issue that farmers no longer go to their farms because of the issue of banditry, kidnapping, and all of that, which is a major problem in our current society. It is also to that effect that we as human rights activists within our own capacity are crying out to the government to ensure that the right security apparatus is being employed, and then that the government of the day is trying to focus more their energy is being channeled to address the issues of insecurity as the ultimate unrest in our nation. With no reasons to dispute that Nigeria currently is going through insecurity, like you rightly said. But then, as a president of the country, which we believe should also be inclined to international law, we see it as a disrespect, to Nigeria as a sovereign state. Yes, before we engage, there are rules of engagement. If Nigeria as a sovereign nation is in one way or the other having a bilateral agreement or a diplomatic agreement with the U.S., inviting the U.S. government to intervene in an issue, then it will be a different case. And then the reasons why I, as a person, which I'm also entitled to my opinion, will not support that effort is because the United States, when it comes to military intervention, has a very poor record, because we've seen instances of countries where they intervene and such countries were left in ruin, and Libya is a forceful example in Africa.
Amid insecurity that is currently affecting Nigeria as a country and its citizens, with different reactions from our respondents who also called on the federal government to do the needful to boost the security of lives and properties of citizens. They also reacted and made reference to the intervention statement made by the United States of America's President Donald Trump, calling it a welcome development, and it should also be something that should be welcomed by the country. It is Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said. So
that's...
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
the man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said.
So
So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something. You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see when they are dressing them up and dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
All right, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's always indeed a pleasure to have you join me on this lovely show, Flipside on Independent Television, reaching you live from the city of Benin. Well, today is not an exception. I feel so elated to be here with you. And of course, today we're having a very interesting conversation, something that a lot of persons have come to see as a menace, a growing menace in our political landscape. And I personally believe that if this is not, nipped in the bud, if it is not curbed, it's going to become a major problem. Okay, so it's something that has to do with godfatherism in Nigerian politics. Is it fading or is it evolving? All right, so that's the million-dollar question that we're asking today. I'm sure a lot of you out there are quite familiar with this menace, godfatherism in Nigerian politics. Is it something that is gradually waning? Is it fading out, or it's it's just reinforcing? But that's basically what we're going to be discussing today. And of course, I'm not alone. I've got two amazing young men with me in the house, and together we're going to be doing justice to the discourse. To my far left is, a friend and brother, William Sejai. He is a public affairs analyst. Welcome on board, bro.
Thank you very much, Harry, for having me again.
Yes, thank you so much for doing me the honor of being on the show with me. And of course, seated next to Williams is another public affairs analyst who goes by the name of Osaro Edokbayi.
Thanks for having me again. Good afternoon, viewers at home. It's always a pleasure to be on the flip side.
Thank you so much for being with us on the show. This is probably the third time you've been with me on the show. right? Yeah. And of course, you know, you always come with the fire, and I'm sure today is not going to be different. Okay, so let's get talking, gentlemen. A very interesting topic: Godfatherism in Nigeria politics. Is it evolving or is it fading? Who would like to take the first shot? Let me start with you, Saro.
The honest truth is that.
Let's even begin. All right, let's begin. How would you describe Godfatherism? What's Godfatherism to you? Maybe we should start from there.
Okay, let's just take a quick look at the definition of Godfatherism. You know, Godfatherism, you know, is a process by which we have the elites. Okay. You understand? Some elites who are the bourgeoisies in a state.
Okay.
Or at the local level, local government level. You understand? And these are the people that influence people who they want. They influence anybody. Like, for example, I can say William is capable, but William is not loyal. Okay? And I'll go and bring
capability versus loyalty.
Yeah, so I'll go and bring in somebody who I feel will be loyal to me, and then I will sponsor the person with my finance and my network.
By loyalty, you mean someone who's ready to dance to
my tune, so that it will give me access. You know, when he eventually emerge as the winner, and he's now maybe the governor, he's now maybe the senator, he will give me access. We can do it maybe 50-50, or if I'm greedy, we can even do it 60-40. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Godfatherism in the layman terms. You know, an ability for somebody, a strong man, behind the scene to influence electoral process. That's Godfatherism.
Okay, so someone who has the capacity to influence an electoral process.
Massively. Massively.
All right, Williams, do you share that thought or you like to differ?
Just to add to it, is the one that has the unimaginable structure that controls the resources, have that voter acceptance. You know, they look up to the person like, oh, trustworthy person in the society by the reason of we have conquered the people either through a philanthropic gesture or through charity, like the common one I can give to you, grading our street, assisting philanthropic projects, or even this foundation.
You're talking about someone
NGOs.
who's not within the government, the corridors of power.
Yes, it's not within, but they've done a lot just to project. They say, first of all, they first project themselves. They may not really want to do it through the government aspect now, but they've projected themselves. They've already over time win the acceptance of the people. It can be in the streets, you know, but then they have these structures. First of all, they have the money, they have the structure, everything is within them. So they then look for somebody that they can anoint. They call it, this one will anoint this one. But before then, they must have had a lot of chronics now, or proteges, or God's sons around this political system, so that when they pronounce, they say, okay, now let's bring this person in to be the governor, to be the president, to be the senator, local government chairman, whatever, or state assembly member. Then they anoint this person, and then it spreads the names around us. Okay, work for so person in different spheres, different local governments, go down to the world, down to the units. So they work for these persons, and then the person emerge. Just like what Osaro gave, the key factor there is that the person must be loyal. Loyalty, that is what the Godfather wants. You know, for this issue between there is Godfatherism comes as the relationship between the Godfather and the Godson.
The Godson.
So when we are saying when you say Godfather,
so there is a Godfather, there is a Godson.
Yes, when you say Godfatherism, you are trying to say, okay, you are dwelling on the relationship between him and the God. So the Godfather now is the ones that anoint the Godson to become whosoever I want to be in the political system. That when he gets that loyalty, if there's no loyalty, he will not bring the person up. When there's loyalty, he brings the person up. But most of the time, they do it, you just, okay, let's use this person out of the fact that they want to change some political policies, economic policies, whatsoever it may be. The person in the first place may not be loyal. That is why you will not. We'll get to that place. I just want to set this.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I'm really happy that you've been able to, lay the foundation for this conversation, because there's a whole lot to this discourse. But I would like us to examine the, some other factors that have given rise to godfathers in our political landscape. you will agree with me that Nigeria has come a long way since 1960, right? And we haven't always had it this bad as far as the involvement of godfathers, in politics is concerned. So what are those factors you think have given rise, to godfathers in our political sphere?
Yeah, to start with, number one, finances. For you to come out to say, oh, I'm running for office,
okay,
you need the war chest as an individual.
The what?
The war chest.
The war chest.